Today, I'll explain Newton's first law of motion, which is also called as law of inertia. Newton's first law of motion states that an object at rest stays at rest and an object in motion stays in motion unless an external unbalanced force is applied on it. For example, a ball at rest cannot move by itself. An unbalanced force should be applied on it to move. If we will apply an unbalanced force to a motioned object, it may change its velocity or speed or its direction. Why should we only apply unbalanced force and why not balanced force? Either the object would be in rest or the object would be in uniform motion. So by applying balanced force, the object which is in rest stays at rest and the object which is in motion stays in motion. Newton's first law of motion is also called as law of inertia because it describes the tendency of an object to resist changes in its state of motion. Now what is inertia? Inertia is the property or tendency of an object to resist changes in its state of motion. Inertia is dependent on mass. Thus, the greater the mass, the greater the inertia. Inertia is of three types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Inertia of rest, the inability to change the state of rest. For example, when a car starts suddenly, we fall backward because the car comes into the state of motion as well as our feet, but our upper body tries to remain in the state of rest. Inertia of motion. It's quite opposite to inertia of rest. Inertia of motion is the inability to change the state of motion. For example, when a running car stops suddenly, we move forward because the car comes into the state of rest as well as our feet, but our upper body comes into the state of motion. Inertia of direction, the inability to change the direction of the motion. For example, when a car takes sharp turn, we are get thrown to the opposite side because car changes its direction as well as our feet, but our upper body remains in the previous direction. I would like to show an experiment related to inertia of rest. This is one of the best example for inertia of rest. Thank you for giving this opportunity.